Alright, let's assigning more material property to your goblet in this lesson. You with the specular diffuse the reflective option with the plastic shader, assign the value with the reflective index of plastic shader, assign value with the shininess option plastic shader, assign value with the existing option plastic shader, experiment various combination of plastic shader options. On the goblet database, you with the whichever the method you prefer, edit menu, clicking on combination or selection, base 1 region. In the last lesson, you will assign value with the two shader attributed to transparency and mirror reflectiveness. In the lesson, you will assign the value with the still other shader properties when the plastic shaders are selected the base 1 region. Either attributed into the box of the current will they appear with a combination. Every of the boxes contain either the value of the U of the previously set. Those were previously set with the transparency mirror reflectancy of the default value with the ray tracer will U with no other specified when either of these values with the modified with the chain with the other braces in the string. The shader string box in the appropriate attributed entry box as indicated with both arrows as following. Show the colors and combination editor. No, Berlicad versions of prior F5.2, the default values are now displayed with the shader attribute box. In this example, the shader entry box indicated with the transparency TR set in 0.5 mirror reflectancy RE set at 45 of the abbreviation currently used in the shader entry box as follows. TR for transparency, SP for specular reflectivity, R for the refractive index, E for the extinction, R for the minor reflectance, D for diffuse reflectivity, S for shininess, E for emissions. Our specular diffuse reflectivity, light reflective with the shining surface with the two type of the reflection mode with the noticeable highlights are called for the specular reflectivity, result of the surface produced with the difficult diffuse reflectivity. The shinier glass over the surface is more crystal based, and the more specific specular reflectivity is produced with the dualer surface with the wall pane with the flat plane more diffuse with the reflectivity that is produced with the model relationship between the reflectivity shown in the following illustration. Alright, you have your specular versus on the bottom, and then you have your diffusion reflectivity model. As you see in the illustration, the diffuse of the reflectivity show the object with the color reflecting ambient light over the object. The upper left ball exhibits the maximum value with the diffuse reflectivity. As a result, the surface of the color is uniform. Or specular reflectivity, on the other hand, reflects the color of the light source of the lowest of the right ball with the maximum value with the specular reflectivity 1 show the white light source reflected on the surface of the range of both specular diffuse with the reflectivity 0 to 1. However, the combined value with typically 1 equal to 1. Remember that you are not getting the set of the value of the attribute. You need to sum of the corresponding value of the complementary to attribute the combination of the values equal to 1. Reflectivity, refractive index. The light path through the one medium into the air into another medium bends for the original path. The degree of the light bends with the color. The refractive index of the more dissimilar medium of the engraved with the degree of the refraction will occur with the example of the sunlight passing through the diamond will bend more than the same as the sunlight through an optical glass. The diamond should would have high refractive indexes approximately 2.42, where optical glass would have a larger refractive index approximately 1.71. Range of the index refraction of the MGD index of the air with the greater the parameter, the only use of the material with the transparency greater than the following diagram. When the sunlight passing through the water show the refraction works. Alright, shininess. Shininess of the object with the effect with the step of the specular comment with the plastic shade with the shiny object surface with a smaller reflection with the light source on the object's wall surface with the that will be the range of shifting that shining if the typical integral value of 1 to 10. Extinction. The term extinction applied with the transmittive component of the plastic shader if it indicates the amount of the light absorbed by the object. The material by default with 0 to 0, the range of the negative number of the U, the attributed with the dramatically impact with the attributed with the shader, especially with the refractive index. Alright, emissions. Emissions are relatively new feature that has been added to Berlicad package of the connection with the amount with the artificial brightness out of the object and applying attributes to the plastic shade with the goblet. Now you understand the various attributes of the plastic shade, the type of the experiment, and how they affect with the final product goblet created with the previous 2 version of the various sign with the value with the transparent mirror reflectancy and attributed with the specifically reflective with the diffuse with the reflectively based in one read. Where was that? Alright, base 1R. You see the attributed with the design of the refractive index with the shine with the extension with you want to use the extrapolate the sum of the chain with the can refer later with the creating other boundaries with the plastic shade. Remember they apply with the combination after the actual incorporate with the changes as you change with the value of the attributed plastic shade with the know if the sum of the chain that do not significantly alter with the design of the kit with the variety of the way to read with the particular logic object. Following two examples, the goblet varies value with the properties of the which do with a noticeable difference for the base in one region. Class 9, Global 9, 0.9 respectively, reactivity diffuse 0.1, same goblet assigned with a value of 0.5 extinction. Alright, by the time you finish with experimenting with the chamber, the distributed with the plastic shape with a combination area, you might look at something like this. Notice that the shader string with the entry of the box reflect with the value of the other entry box with a transparency of 0.5 does not reflect with the default values the shininess of 10. Alright, your review. In this lesson, you display reflective, the diffuse, reflective, the option plastic shoulder, sign with the reflective index of the plastic shoulder, sign value with the shipment shininess option plastic shader, sign value with the extinction option with the plastic shader, explain various combination of plastic shader operator options. Lesson 9.